My name is Reagan Durning. I'm a student at Chattahoochee Technical College. I'm taking class ECC 1103, Child Growth and Development 20890. Today I'll be talking about the different types of temperament in children, specifically what types of temperament there are, what is the difference between big reactors and low reactors, and why this is important and can change our perspective on our teaching. All of today's information comes from the sources 0 to 3 and NCPMI. Before we can discuss how different types of temperament impact our teaching, we first need to discuss what are the different types of temperament. There are 3 types of temperament. The first one is easy and flexible. Easy and flexible children are typically going to be laid back and go with the flow. They will often be good eaters and sleepers. They are adaptable for when plans and routines change, and they will typically have a very calm demeanor. While this child may sound like the ideal student, we have to remember that temperament does not control personality. The second type of temperament is active and feisty. Active and feisty children are kind of what it sounds like. They have lots of energy and they can be all over the place. Active and feisty children often are really overwhelmed and get a little nervous when going into a new situation or environment, which is something really important to remember when we're teaching. Active and feisty children may have these big reactions, which is something we'll talk about in a minute, but even though they may act large and in charge, they get overstimulated and overwhelmed in loud or chaotic environments. The third type of temperament is slow to warm and cautious, and this title describes these children perfectly. Children who are slow to warm and cautious are often very skeptical or nervous to meet people they don't know or do things they've never tried before. However, children with a slow to warm and cautious temperament, when exposed to consistent, developmentally appropriate exposure to situations, are often able to adapt very well. Now it's time to talk about different types of reactors. There are 2 different types of reactors. There are big reactors and low reactors. First, we'll discuss big reactors. Big reactors are exactly what they sound like. They have big reactions to situations. They'll have big reactions whether a situation's good or exciting or it's sad and upsetting. They feel things big. The second type of reactor is a low reactor. Low reactors are often subdued and kind of dull in their reactions to things. It might take a lot to get a reaction out of a low reactor. 0 to 3 explains to us that when we have a kid with big reactions, we need to take a step back and think about how we can be a calming person to help them regulate. And when we have a kid who's really subdued all the time, how can we get excited to help them get excited? Okay, now that we've talked about the different types of temperament and the different types of reactors, how does this impact our teaching? Well, to start, we need to understand what our temperament is as the educator. Do we have a temperament that is calm and understanding? If not, how can we gain those skills? After we've looked at our temperament, it's time to look at the temperament of the students in our room. The kids who are active need time to be active and that they'll learn better after that. And that kids who are more subdued might need some alone time to recharge and re-regulate. It's important to tailor our schedule and our activities to these things. It's also important to discuss children who aren't a good fit in our environment. NCPMI tells us about what they call goodness of fit. Goodness of fit is how well a student fits in an environment. While there's a lot that we can do to change our environment, the way we engage with students, our activities, and our schedule, there's only so much that we can change. It's okay for our environment to not be the best fit for every student, and there's no shame in saying to parents that we think a student would thrive better elsewhere. The most important thing is that students feel safe and loved in an environment. And if our students don't feel safe or comfortable in the environment that we have, that's okay. Not all kids are meant for all environments. The best thing that we can do is to help them find somewhere where they can feel comfortable. Learning about temperaments can change the way we interact with our students. We can make interactions more meaningful, we can better understand them, and we can create an environment in which they can thrive.